From Baxter's 942 in the Highlands of Louisville, Kentucky, this is Shooting from the Lip. I am Erik McEwen, and we have Kevin right next to me, and we have another amazing guest.
Amazing,
because this is cool. I'm
really
excited
interested. Too. You know, in looking at my news feed, that's what I do. I'll zoom through it, and if there's something that jumps out at me, in somehow, some way, I'm thinking, in this case, Jason we're friends on Facebook, so I'm looking at what he has going on, and he's got this cool thing called Derby City Dream Cars.
And we are speaking to Jason Schmidt.
Jason Schmidt.
Yes.
How are you, buddy?
Good, gentlemen. How are we doing tonight?
Good.
I mean, this is basically the embodiment of everyone's childhood fantasy, right? You just want to wake up and drive whatever you want, however you want.
When I was a teenager, I dressed like Sonny Crockett. Therefore, I wanted to drive the Ferrari like Sonny Crockett. Miami Vice. For you kids, that's not, you didn't know that.
I feel like there's a persona that comes along with some of those iconic car scenes. You equate the car with a personality. You equate the masculinity that came through with it, and you sometimes make an icon or idolize those certain situations.
Steve
and they become romantic. Absolutely.
Steve McQueen, with Tom Selleck and Magnum P.I.
Yeah.
You had Smokey and the Bandit you have Michael Knight in the Trans Am.
Well, I mean, heck, even recently, Paul Newman, they sold his watch for $12 million. It was a beat up old Rolex, but because he used to race in it, they sold it for $12 million.
Wow.
Yeah. So you have cars that'll talk to you like Kit?
We have cars that'll talk to you, but they're not as robotic as the old Trans Am was. They're much more pleasant these days. They talk to you in these amazing English-based,
Kit was kind of a
accents.
smart ass.
He had a little bit of an attitude. It's like, well, occasionally Siri can act up too. She can get a little smart.
Well, if David Hasselhoff is sitting on you every day, I might have an attitude as well.
Your attitude would be completely different in that situation, without question.
So we got Jason Schmidt, Derby City Dream Cars. It's the premier and exclusive provider of exotic rentals for the greater Louisville area.
Well, how big of a market is that here in Louisville, Kentucky?
That was my entire skepticism on the start of this thing. I think the front end of it was loaded with these questions. Interestingly, I was chased with one of my business partners chased me with this idea for like 2.5 years, and only when we were able to get a partnership together with an experience group that helped us maybe avoid some snags and snares in the startup phase did it make sense. And so just before Derby, we brought some cars up through this thing out there on social media and saw what happened, and we booked out. Oh wow! Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday morning, Monday morning, people coming in to take a Bentley somewhere. It's like, well, I don't know what you're doing on Monday that's that cool that it warrants arrival in a $360,000 Mulsanne, but I'm all for it. Come get the thing.
Right.
So the response has been magnificent, and we've got a lot of good press coverage too. Every news station, Courier Journal, we just shot Louisville Magazine. We're shooting a voice soon. And I think all that really helps. And shooting from the lip to top it all off. I think these things really help us. The exposure, because I think people just need to know about it, and that's only going to make the thing just that much more well received.
And you have tons of experience in the car industry. You own Hikes Lane Auto Sales as well as Sellersburg Auto Sales.
Right. We got a couple dealerships. I've been doing this since college. I've been flipping cars, trying to pay some bills for a long time, and I'm a hobbyist. It turned into a business. I'm thankful for that, but it's definitely grassroots. I remember my first office, I had to stand on the curb over the hood of the cars to fix them myself, and then I'd clean them, and then I'd take a picture of them and put them online. It's come a long way from that, but it's still, certain cars I gotta hop up on the curb and get under the hood of them even today, and that's okay. We enjoy that.
Is there grease under your nails right now?
I hope not. A little bit. All right.
Nice.
Got a little straggler over there.
So how long have you been the owner of both of these car lots?
I've been working the past 5 years with a great guy, Mike Miller. Lucky to find him. Good, trustworthy partner, honest guy, hard worker. I wish I could bust my butt as much as he does. So he's a great compliment to the business, a real bright financial mind as well. So in conjunction with selling cars, I think the reason our business really took off is we gave people a way to get a car financed. And traditionally traditional, non-traditional fashions, commercial equipment, a little bit of everything. I think that only bodes well for us going forward in the future, but the car lot's really just an extension of that. So doing it with him for 5 years, but been after it for, 12, 13 years even.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty much in school, man.
So I think what's on everybody's mind when we're talking about Derby City Dream Cars is, what are you thinking giving these cars out to people?
It's definitely a tricky thing.
Right.
I mean, we had a couple of experiences right out of the gate with some folks that went a little rogue, but we got GPS telemetry on everything. I know how fast you're cornering. I know how fast you're braking.
Wow.
I know how fast you're shifting. Definitely know how fast you're going and where you are. So
That helps.
without all those, it's just a big question mark. I mean, I think doing this in the 80s would have been a nightmare because you're like, I can only landline call this guy. How are we going to track these people down? I mean, this is the best.
You need your own dream car.
I mean,
You have to follow, right?
Seriously, I mean, what a primitive monitoring system that would have been. But these days now, I mean, between cell phone, social media, credit card access, phone numbers, I mean, you can be tracked whether you really want to be or not. And most of these people, if they would attempt something, it'd be pretty hard for them to completely get away with it.
Clearly, when someone goes this route to rent a high-end exotic car, it's to make an impression.
I think it's to make an impression, definitely, and I don't think until, if you haven't driven a Lamborghini Huracan that's bright red in Louisville that has none of these. I mean, this car just broke the Nürburgring track record, right? By like 3 seconds. Beat the $1 million Porsche 918. So you're driving down Bardstown Road in this thing. I mean, you get a lot of looks.
Right.
So traditionally, we're all rolling around in our sedans, our normal things, because that's what we do. I mean, there's not really much need for L's, but bigger markets, bigger cities, a little more celebrity power, you see the thirst for that. Well, here, I mean, there's a definite difference between seeing that car and not seeing that car, and the reaction you get. I mean, people hanging out their windows, going down to Watterson, trying to take a video of you in your car while they're in their car. I mean, seriously, that stuff happens, and so everybody who rents one of these things, they do it again. And because once they do it, they like, well, that was fun, and it was a good.
Now, do you have a certain inventory people can pick from, or they need something, you go get it?
Availability is a little tough. I mean, trying to fit the need at the time the car is not rented or not in service or even in our fleet. It's kind of hard to deliver all products to everyone because we aren't multimillionaires. We aren't doing this
Not
with
yet.
Not yet.
well, I hope so. There's a long road there, but I think there's a definite broad range of stuff that people can grab. I mean, we got a Rolls-Royce Phantom that's about as elegant as it gets. We got the Maserati GTS, which is even outside. That's about
Outsider.
the best blend of the two. I mean, it's a true 206-mile-an-hour vehicle. It's got 4 doors. It looks awesome, pretty new. We've got Porsche. We've got Lamborghini, 2 of them actually that we can expose people to. We got Bentley Flying Spur. So, we kind of go all over the range. And if we don't have it now, good chances we'll have it in 6 months. And it won't be here for long because, I mean, you can't keep the same car just chilling for a year because after your buyers come in and they spend their money and they drive it, they're like, okay, what's next?
Right.
Well, we got to trade them out because unfortunately we can't just pile them on.
Well, that's a good question. What is kind of the life cycle of one of these rentals?
Looks like it's about 3 to 4 months at the most.
Really?
Absolutely. The Lamborghini Huracan's actually probably a little bit more of a staple. That's a car that can hang around. Lamborghini doesn't change body designs very much, so I think that car introduced in 2016 is going to carry through for probably another 7-8 years. And so our plan is to try to keep that car around. We had it here for about 3 weeks before. It's out of town right now. It's coming back, which will be fun. That is the best bang for the buck, bar none. I mean,
And is this something that's affordable for very many people, or do you have to have a black card to be able to rent one of these?
top line items $1,500 a day.
Wow.
That's Lamborghini.
Right.
The Gallardo's a little cheaper at $1,000 a day. Ferrari's going to be somewhere in between depending on the model. The 458's closer to 15, the 430's closer to $1,000. But I think those 2 cars are probably the hot button items for people wanting to drive, and definitely affordable. I mean, take a clutch job on any one of those Ferraris, going to run you about $17,000. life cycle is about that many miles. So you're about $1 a mile just in that. Tires, $10,000. I mean, it's just stupid how much these things take to maintain. So you break down how frequently you would actually use something like that, what it would cost you to acquire it, how to maintain it, how to store it, how to insure it, yada, yada, yada. You're going to bust through the numbers we would charge you to rent it.
So say there was an athlete that happened, an athlete or celebrity that lived in Louisville, it would make more sense for them to rent.
I think it makes more sense for everybody. We've actually have some corporate customers that they just bought it for their Highline people when they come in town. They're blowing a lot of money a lot of other ways. What's $600 a day to take the Maz and pick your people up? That's what people want. There's a lot more willingness to do that than I think you might account for just from like a general population.
So the market isn't everybody just wanting to stunt and put it on Instagram. This is something that is built into a corporate budget.
I think there's that element to it. We had a huge spike at graduation because people were taking their kids for rides. They got all A's.
Cool.
They got all A's. They picked their kids up from school last day, rode them around. I mean,
sorry, son, you got all B's. You're gonna have to sell for the Chevy.
We got the Cobalt for you. That's right. It's still a great. What's been interesting though is we designed this website and we got so much web traffic off of being a rental car service. I now get about 4 calls a day for like minivans, Toyotas, Nissans. It's all about like maybe I should buy some of these and put it out there. I mean, I don't even know what people are charging for this stuff. I got to research it.
How long? What's the time frame people are generally renting these for? Duration?
We've had one person rent the Rolls Royce for 6 days. That's probably our longest single rental in any one time. I would say on average 24 hours is really good for people. They have a certain thing they want to do with it in mind, a certain trip they want to make around town. We do limit the miles because the cost on these things is so exorbitant that there's really only in-town usage. But people get that out of their system and it's like, okay, I've got it. I'm done.
Security deposit, all that good stuff.
Hefty. I mean, $2,500 cash, which would barely cover anything on any one of these if you would actually damage them. That would just be like a more good faith thing.
Certain level of insurance.
Extreme level of insurance. Now, we actually check people's personal policies with all kinds of limitations and coverages and dollar amounts before we roll them. I've got a special insurance policy under design that will basically be purchasable by the customer at the time that they rent the car. That basically is our best way of taking the liability off everybody. Us, them as a driver. It's a known quantity. This guy's insuring it. He knows what these people are doing. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong. We expected it. That's why they bought the darn thing.
Right.
I mean, it's a tricky area. I mean, you're releasing dangerous toys to people who have zero experience. So we try to tell them how to drive it, what the buttons mean, what to do. Don't panic. Worst comes to worst, let off the gas. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Just don't freak out.
But doesn't that make you nervous that
Absolutely.
you have somebody come in and say, basically, you're going to have to give them a crash course on how to drive this car?
Yeah, I mean, with limitation of the street laws alone, they shouldn't be doing certain things.
Right.
So if they're doing anything above and beyond that, they're hopefully doing it in short spurts in safe areas. But these cars can quickly get out of control. And I just tell people, listen, if you want to push the car, I'm telling you not to. But if you decide to and you get in trouble, let off the gas. I'm going to see how fast you're going. I'm going to call you right after you went that fast and tell you I'm coming to get the keys. But, we just have to keep a tight rein on people. I want people to have fun with it. They got to be safe. But there's a balance there. And I think, I tell people, listen, you take care of the cars, we'll be just fine.
Is there an age restriction? Do you only
25?
25. Yeah. Which is, I guess, it is the normal, right?
Yeah, it's a normal. We try to follow. Some of those guidelines are so generalized with insurance that it just makes sense to keep them consistent.
Mm-hmm.
If they wrecked the Nissan from Enterprise, they wrecked one of our cars, like, well, how old was it? All those same questions I think are going to be in a similar ballpark. But, we understand that younger crowd's going to be more pliable with their wallet on something like this.
Right.
If you got 3 kids, you're like, well, I really want to spend $1,500 to drive a Huracan. I still think the answer is yes, by the way. But, the spit split comes...
middle-aged or midlife crisis thing, right?
I would assume, or any life crisis.
Yeah. Here's one thing that I think this would be so fun with. There's these YouTube videos. Have you seen where the gold digger videos?
Oh, yeah. They're so much fun to watch.
So, have you seen them?
No.
Well, this is like the guy will start talking to some hot chick, like would be out here on.
Oh, I have seen these. They bait him.
Yeah, and he's standing next to his Maserati. Standing next to a Maserati, and she's all into it, and he's like, well, I'll be back, and then he shows up in a Nissan, and then she's at that time she's my boyfriend. I'm really kind of in a relationship.
Right.
So
the dynamic changes real fast depending on what's presented.
Did you see the one in the tank where the dude she just blew him off and then he went and got into a tank?
No.
And she's like, "Is that yours?" He's like, "Well, yeah, but." So
street legal tank. I don't know if we can rent this or not.
M1 Abrams, is that something that I can?
Well, let's try it. Okay. I mean, hey, if we got a DMV tag that registers, I mean, I think we're okay.
Now you got this exclusive drive club. What's that all about?
It's basically a cheaper way to buy miles. If you know you're going to be renting frequently, that's a better way to buy the miles, basically. I encourage that because people do rent once and they seem very prone to do it again, and they seem to do it pretty quickly as of now. And don't punish yourself. That's our way of offering a discount, basically. Yeah.
I bet you there's the person to your right probably looks pretty good in that Maserati.
The fiance?
The fiance, yeah.
She wore a white shirt just to match it.
Yeah, exactly.
I was sitting here thinking the whole time, what am I going to rent?
You know what we have to do, Eric?
Thank you for showing and picking us up in the Maserati.
Well, we have to walk after this segment. We have to go out there and get a shooting from the lip co-host shot at the in front of the car.
We're definitely going to do
I know.
a little photo shoot if possible. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we can on Facebook. We can follow everything that you're a part of. Search for Hikes Lane Auto, Sellersburg Auto, and now Derby City Dream Cars on Facebook, and then check out DerbyCityDreamCars.com. I love what you're doing, man. This is really cool.
I appreciate it, man. It's definitely a risk. It's definitely not easy, but we wanted to put something out there that people could have some fun with. I think it's a good marketing tool for my other businesses too, because I really want to take care of everybody's car needs. I want to be the car guy. You need something, come to me. I'll service it, I'll clean it, I'll fix it, I'll sell it, we'll do whatever.
Do you have any competition right now
in the exotic car rental market? No, I think everyone's waiting to see how it's going to go.
Yeah.
If it looks like I'm always going to act like I'm doing terribly because I don't want anyone else to jump in the mix. So, I'm just going to feel it out. I think everybody's kind of hesitant, waiting to see what's going to happen.
I love it. All right. Jason Schmidt, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Gentlemen, it's been a blast. Shooting from the lip, doing awesome.
Well, thank you so much. All right, we're going to take a short break, and I'm going to go check out this Maserati.
Let's do it.